It looked like the boy surely going to start blistering and succumb to the disease. It was going to be a slow and painful end for the young man. Either madness or desperation took hold of the doctor. He called over the milkmaid, scraped pus from one of her blisters, and forced it into a small incision on the boy's arm. No, this is not some sick and twisted experiment. The boy lived and was the first person to ever be vaccinated. The history of vaccines is a fascinating and complex one, full of triumphs and challenges. It's a story that spans centuries and involves some of the most brilliant minds in medicine and science. In the early 1700s, smallpox was a terrifying disease that plagued the world. It was highly contagious, and once infected, a person would suffer from high fever, painful rashes, blisters, and would often die. It was a disease that could strike anyone, regardless of their social status, wealth, or age. In the English countryside, there lived a country doctor by the name of Edward Jenner. Now, he was a curious man, and he was fascinated by the natural world around him. And one day he noticed something. Somehow, he observed that milkmaids who contracted cowpox, a relatively mild disease that causes blistering on the udders of cows, seemed to somehow be immune to smallpox. Now, this observation intrigued Jenner, and he wondered if there was some way that he could use this knowledge to protect people from smallpox. So in 1796, Jenner decided to conduct an experiment to test his theory. He took pus from a cowpox lesion on a milkmaid and inoculated an 8-year-old boy named James Phipps with it. Now, naturally, at the time, Jenner's experiment was considered highly controversial. Very reasonably and understandably, people were somewhat wary of actively and deliberately infecting a healthy individual with a disease, even a mild one like cowpox. However, Jenner was convinced of his theory and believed that he was onto something that could save lives. After a few days, Jenner exposed Phipps to smallpox. And to his great monumental relief, Phipps did not develop smallpox. Jenner repeated his experiment with other individuals and found that cowpox, yes, actually it did indeed provide immunity to smallpox. This revolutionary discovery paved the way for the development of vaccines and changed the course of medicine forever. Jenner's work was not without challenges. Many people were skeptical of his findings, as you might well imagine, and some even considered him a fraud. But over time, his work gained recognition, and the medical community embraced his ideas. Today, vaccines are one of the most important tools in modern medicine. They've helped to eradicate diseases that are deadly, like smallpox, and saved countless lives. Edward Jenner's curious mind and determination to discover a solution to a deadly disease changed the course of history. But just for a second, I want you to imagine going to a hospital and coming back with radiation poisoning. Not just a little bit of radiation poisoning, more radiation than you got from the Demon Core, or more radiation than you'd get from standing in the failed reactor at Fukushima. This happened several times, and it was a mystery that took a while to solve. You can find out all about that in this video right here.